Okay, let's go ahead and look at this. This is during the first time debugging. This is Unit 1, Lesson 6, and we've got it pulled up. We're going to see that there's some warnings up here at the top. It's not going to stop us from executing, but let's just get a look at what's going on. I like to run a project immediately, and we see the build fail, and we get all kinds of warnings and errors everywhere. Now, the warnings, we can put those off because we might actually be able to fix some of those as we go along, and then the errors, those we have to take care of. So let's go ahead and look at that. If we click on one of that first error in the line, it pulls up and says, hey, I've got an error right off the bat and I'm expecting some things. And if we click on here and look, we see that it gives us some ideas of what it's expecting, but we're not quite sure. And we can do some things like we can click on this curly brace, and if we double click on it, it'll highlight everything. So curly brace looks good. Our curly braces actually look good, so that's not really the problem. But this one's not pulling up, even though there's one here to match it. And if we go in and look a little closer at this red line, this gives us a cue that this is where we got a problem, these two red lines. And then that's where we notice that we don't have a curling parentheses here. So let's go ahead and put in our closing parentheses. And that clears that error for us and takes care of it. We get another new warning error in here that we have an unresolved identifier, some method, and it says, hey, did you mean some method? And this is an error that comes up. It's really common if you don't use your autocomplete to finish things and you just try to type them all out. And this is one of the beauties of autocomplete, is that it keeps you from getting this error a lot of times. If we click on our error message, it says, hey, here's a fix-it that can fix that for us, and we'll just go ahead and take it, and hey, there we go. Problem solved. We've got some warnings now. In here, the sample was never actually mutated. It means we never actually changed it, and well, that takes up extra space, and in a large project, that'll make your app run slower, and that's not good for the users. We click it, we've got to fix it here. We can replace that with a let. I like that. This one here, this will never be executed. You got a couple of options. So we can change false and make it true, or we can just delete this whole section. But there may have been a reason we started to put this here, and so we could even comment the whole thing out. Either way, that works. I would say let's go ahead, and since we're not actually using this bit of code here, let's go ahead and comment it out. And so I'm going to go in and put in my multi-line comment here, and now comment that line out. Now it's just a comment and we're good to go, and that gets rid of that as well. I'll also tell you, some method down here doesn't have anything in it either. You're really going to want to do some things. We still have some warnings, and for my learners, I want them to fix warnings as well, but let's see what's going on first and see if we get any other problems. So we'll go ahead and run it. And we get another error. We've got in here, we've got some code that has a test array. It's a string array with first element says uh-oh, and we do test array remove first and then remove. Oh, we can't do that. We're trying to remove something. Again, one of the really neat things with Swift is it will break if you try to do something with an array and you don't actually have an element there. Rather than just returning nil, it tells you, hey, you've done too much. Now, an easy thing to do, two options here. You can, actually three options. You can add another element to that array. You can remove the line 23 and we can comment that out or remove it. Or we can even put this into some type of loop that counts and only runs the number of times that it works. So let's just do the simple right now. We're going to take that line out, and we'll run it again and see what happens. And now things seem to be running a lot better. It just pulls up our nice white screen, but it's not breaking and there's no errors in it. Now, we still had some warnings to deal with, and let's look at those. Now, This first one, conversion to Swift 5. This is something new that came up with the new release. We can do that. We can try to update those. That's fine, especially if you are on Catalina or you're running Swift, Xcode 11. That's great. If you're not, you don't have to worry about that Swift 5 update right now. This other one with update to recommended settings, there are some things as it updates, and you can update those and perform those changes, and that's fine. That'll help get rid of that and some of those things as well. These are not critical warnings that will make everything break or cause you lots of issues. You may find some problems with that Swift 5 conversion, though, depending on the settings you've got for your school and what's going on. And those are just some things you're going to have to work through. But as things mature and you get better, it will work. We can see that we got sampled down here in our console. Everything's running great for this program. So there we go. Have fun. I'll talk to y'all later.